Good morning, everyone. My name is Zachary Gott. I go by Kaibon the Renegade on YouTube and TikTok. I'm here to read you my audiobook for Godly Legacies, The Land of Frozen Hearts. This audiobook is free, but if you want to support my work, the best way you can do so is to buy a copy on Amazon and leave a review. So thanks so very much for joining me this morning, and I'm going to get right into it. Chapter 0, Godly, Book 2, Fire and Ice. Jacob Godly had thought himself a mostly ordinary boy until he was 14 years old. He grew up in Athens, Greece, learning, making friends, and living the life of a regular child with his best friend Damon. That was until the day the city was attacked by chimeras controlled by Chaos, a primordial god who created monsters in order to obtain a body powerful enough to conquer entire pantheons. This attack led Jacob to Mount Olympus, where he learned that he and Damon were both demigods, and they were trained to wield their divine strength. The gods taught the boys specifically to take part in a tournament designed to choose the most powerful demigod among all pantheons and hand them over to Chaos to appease him and prevent him from waging war against the pantheons using his chimera army. Little did they know, Chaos had greater plans in mind. The primordial god had hatched a scheme to create a body powerful enough to conquer every pantheon using the demigods, forcing them to procreate and produce a being known as a pure demigod, a divine child of two demigod parents. His intent being to force Jacob to have children with his half-sister Junia, who was separated from him at birth, and take their child as a body to host his mind. This pure demigod was said to have unrelenting power and stamina to outmatch even the mightiest of gods, a potent resistant to magic, and with Chaos's mind implanted inside, he would have the power and cunning necessary to usurp the pantheons and rule them all with an iron fist. Jacob and Damon found out about his scheme, and they knew there was no way they could let him succeed. So they hatched a plan of their own to gather the aid of all pantheons and form an army of the divine, hoping together they could have the power to overcome Chaos's chimera horde. Having met other demigods from nearly every pantheon in the Tournament of Champions, they'd hoped that they could gain their pantheon's aid by traveling the land and gaining as many powerful allies as they could. Jacob traveled north to recruit the Roman, Irish, and Norse pantheons, while Damon was sent east and Junia was sent west across the ocean. However, Jacob would have been remiss to admit he didn't have another reason. During the tournament, he'd met the demigod Sylvie, Freya's daughter of the Norse pantheon, and developed something of a crush on her, to put it lightly. After traveling across the countryside and arriving in the Norse god's homeland of Asgard, Jacob managed to recruit all the pantheons he'd set out to and found himself with a lot of time left to train and prepare for the upcoming war. During this time, he and Sylvie found themselves entwined in a passionate relationship that eventually resulted in my birth. Our story takes place just a few months into Jacob's stay in Asgard, when his and Sylvie's relationship was still quite new to them both. Our story starts today in Godly Legacies, The Land of Frozen Hearts.